What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Say It in 4, a show where we give 4 unpopular opinions about 4 pressing topics. I know I've got a lot to say this week about a lot of these different topics, so let's jump right into it. The first thing we're going to talk about here today is a lot of things going on in the media with Dave Chappelle. Most recently, he uploaded a topic called Unforgiven, where he's talking about owning the rights to some of his work, and he didn't feel too great about some of the things that Netflix was doing with his content. Charnetta, have you had a chance to look into that and tell me what you think?
Yeah, I did actually. First of all, Dave Chappelle is a genius, man. He's the only one who can say whatever he wants, do whatever he wants, and gets away with it. That show was filled with gems and just so much valuable information. But as far as the whole Netflix thing, so what happened, he basically called Netflix up and was like, yo, I don't appreciate y'all running my stuff. And they pulled it. And I think that was smart of Netflix to go ahead and appease him in that way, because it helps preserve that relationship for future work. So it's also running on HBO Max, and he actually asked people not to watch it on HBO Max.
I did see that.
Yeah. I'm curious to know if HBO will follow suit with Netflix.
I'll say this, having had a chance for to talk about that with Dave Chappelle and, owning the rights to your work, I don't think Netflix did anything wrong. But, in terms of where he was in the stage of his career at the time when they offered him that deal, I mean, it was probably, like he said, I think from what I remember, it worked for him at the time, but that doesn't mean it was right.
That's why you gotta have people look at the contract, right?
Yeah.
Oh, here we are.
it was Comedy Central, actually. Yeah, he made the deal with Comedy Central, and everything about the contract was legit. So, but I think Comedy Central, messed themselves up. They could have patched that relationship, and they're still out here, giving the rights to other people to use.
Entertainers and like different artists, they're so desperate to get a deal, whether it's a record deal or whatever it is, that they're just willing to sign anything. And you can't sign anything. You got to have people that you really, really trust. Look at the paperwork, understand the paperwork, and say, look, this is not a good deal. If it's not a good deal, you don't sign it. Simple as that.
But, at the same time, though, it gave him fame. It didn't give him the money he wanted, but it gave him the fame to then make the money.
That's true.
So you got to kind of look at it like that too.
Yeah.
How far are you willing? What kind of loss are you willing to take in the beginning?
Right.
But I think, but I think it's true, like you said. Like a lot of people get into like the industry, and Dave Chappelle, through all his comedy sketches, he breaks it down about the industry. And he, like he said recently, the industry is a monster. People are selfish and they're greedy and they're doing anything for coin. So they're selling their souls. So like, this isn't like, it's funny because it's like, remember he went for a hiatus for a long time. You remember? He wasn't
Would you
even
say that the deal was
there
though, at the point in time when he signed that deal? I mean, he needed money, right? He was young. He needed, he was looking for a break. Everything in terms of what he needed at that point in time and what they could give in terms of, them being a company is what the deal that was willing to sign. So can you really be mad later if he
it's just messed up, because it's like these people that work in these corporations, they have the insight of, what goes on. There's a lot of demonic and evil things that happens. And it's like, some people are just like used as puppets. You know what I'm saying? They're opportunists. So they're going to take somebody, they see something in Dave Chappelle, they're going to use that and make profit off of him. So it's like, to me, it's like this like slave mentality in a sense. So yeah, he has the name. For us, he's looked at it like, yo, that's Dave Chappelle, like put respect on his name. But when we talking about the big wigs and the people that's running these corporations, it's like, yeah, we're making all this money off of him. Yeah, keep it going. Let's keep the fans happy. But for us, it's like, we're getting the benefit out of it. I listen.
In all fairness to the studios and everything, and even record labels, in the beginning, I think it's fair because they're taking on the majority of the risk. And, so they're putting up the money, they're, doing the promoting and all of that. They're taking on the risk, and they don't know if they're going to make that money back. But once the show was such a huge success as it was, they
absolutely
right. In a nutshell, if you're watching the show right now, do not watch the Dave Chappelle show any
No.
longer. That's
Dave
it. That's
Chappelle.
all we're trying to say.
Right, yeah, we don't want to.
That's what we're trying to say in 4 minutes. Don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
Dave Chappelle show on Netflix. Right.
HBO Max, don't watch it.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but Kevin Hart had a new Netflix special as well. And I would say on a scale from 1 to 10, if you asked me, you know, where that performance ranked for Kevin Hart, it wasn't one of his greatest performance. Because his content to me seemed a little bit dry. But I don't know. What did you think about it, Chanel? If you had a chance to take a look.
Ooh.
Okay.
Kevin Hart, I'm sorry. I was like, he was trying to make the most basic thing, the most funniest thing. And I was like, yo, bro, you're not funny, yo. Like, you talk about, the COVID and the, you know, he's like extra. And I'm like, there's a meme with Stephen A. Smith. And if anybody's like a sports fan, you know, he's an analyst, you know, he's mad hyper energetic. Anybody that knows Stephen A. Smith, where it was like his face, it was like, you know, he has that little dumbfound face, like, so it's like this face at the beginning of the show, this face at the middle of the show, and this face at the end of the show. So like, I know I'm not the only one that feels like
Kevin
Hart's.
It was
no, I'm sorry.
So I mean, I think it was that. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was that bad though. Because,
really?
But you guys, anybody that liked Kevin Hart, you guys created that monster. Right? He's not funny, not to me, right? I think Dave Chappelle is better than him. We were just talking about Dave. I think Dave.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Hands down.
I'll say this real quick. I'll be happy to say this. The only thing that I did take away from that Netflix special is Kevin Hart got a really nice house. For you to be able to
he do
stand up inside of your house, you got to be doing something.
That's a fact.
So that's probably the only thing I took away from that Netflix special.
He said he was in his house, but Cat Williams was throwing shade. Cat Williams saying, "Nah, that ain't his house." You know, but Cat Williams did
Cat Williams is funny though. But Cat Williams is funny. Like Cat Williams, to me, I would rather see Cat Williams than Kevin Hart. No offense. I mean, Kevin Hart is cool.
Okay.
Nah.
So,
no. Why you say no,
Kevin Hart. Team Kevin Hart. Nah, it was good. You know what? It's harder as you get more successful, you know, because your content changes and his fans are used to his silly stuff.
But it ain't funny no more. It ain't funny.
Tired of doing that. He's maturing, and you know, so he's just trying to do something different.
I don't know. No, because Dave Chappelle has been consistent from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? He was funny back then, and he's still funny now.
But
even though he's been seasoned in content. You know what I'm
saying?
If you remember,
a different breed.
Yeah. If you remember Dave from if you remember Dave from like Half Baked, also what was that other joint? Blue Street.
Nutty Professor.
Yeah. So he was the Kevin Hart at that time. And then gradually he changed, right? So now we know Dave Chappelle as this like person who does like dry humor, you know, and sometimes it's funny, but then sometimes it's not funny. To me, the dry humor.
Right.
You know,
so we're talking about huge artists. We just talked about Dave Chappelle, you know, in the stand-up comedy, as well as Kevin Hart. Now let's transition a little bit. The other night was the AMAs, big awards, right? We got the Grammys coming up soon as well. At the AMAs, I was disappointed by some of those nominations and winners, but J-Lo's performance was a hot topic, really huge topic, saying something, you know, storylines along the line that she stole some of Beyonce's choreography, her theme, her style. Is it really stealing Queen B's style, or is it just her, you know, reinventing the wheel a little bit different now? You know, we're in a COVID space, so she probably didn't have as much originality in her head to think of something new.
You know, I think that Jenny from the block needs to go back to the block. You know, go back to the block.
Take the 6. Go back on the 6 train.
Because her creativity is going down the drain, and I just think that it's. I think,
but she just
give it up.
I'm sure she got show directors and whatever that. You know what? She should. Yeah, it was. I watched both. I had to go back and watch, but I'm like,
I'm gonna go back to the block.
It was like the hair, the outfit,
the hair, the outfit,
and the hair.
Right.
And
it was a complete.
But they were pretty different.
No originality.
She should have said, "Oh, that Beyonce's performance inspired me." Maybe she should have said
exactly.
That.
Right.
you know.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's my issue because J-Lo don't never,
credit,
I feel like a lot of J-Lo songs was like, Ashanti was like doing J-Lo songs. You know what I'm saying? People was like, I'm real. No, that was Ashanti's vocals and Jennifer singing.
A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that.
People don't know that.
Wow.
People don't know that. So Jenny, the thing about J-Lo, she's a great actress. She's a great dancer, but she's a great performer. But I just feel like to me, I had like Drunken Love. It reminded me of Drunken Love. And then it was the same kind of performance from the Grammys. When Beyonce did the Grammys, it was like the same thing with the chair, the lights, the look. And I'm just like, I'm not trying to like discredit J-Lo.
Right? She's put together some originality. She had died in the Super Bowl. I mean, her and Shakira did crazy at the Super Bowl. That got
but they're on the 12. But they're twerking on the with the American flag on the pole. Like who does that for a Super Bowl with kids and family watching that? There's no excuse for that, bruh. J-Lo, everybody keeps thinking because Beyonce's like the big star, so everybody thinks like, oh, like if somebody copies off Beyonce's look, blah 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 blah. But it was like that for Beyonce back in the day when Aaliyah was out, because everybody wanted to be like Aaliyah, and Beyonce was copying off Aaliyah.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
What?
Aaliyah? No.
Bro.
Not at all.
What? Beyonce was sounding like Aaliyah?
Okay. See, listen.
No,
Aaliyah,
I'm not tripping. You bugging. Go ahead.
I think you guys did Aaliyah. And I'm going to say this. This is going to be the first time ever probably on Say It in 4, right? You guys gave Aaliyah way too much credit. God rest her soul. God rest her soul. I think that she's overrated. I think that she's overrated. Aaliyah only gave us like 5 songs, like 4 or 5 songs. She didn't even get the chance to prove herself.
5 songs. Her last album was fire. What are you talking about?
You bugging, bro.
And I mean, she did Romeo Must Die.
Everybody wanted to be like her.
That was good.
Great actress. Yes.
Right. Beautiful.
But I mean, nah.
Maybe not her acting skills in, Queen of the Damned or something, but her music?
Yeah.
Nah. 1 in a million. 1 in a million. Rock the boat. And what else? That's it. You have nothing else.
What? Back and forth, agent number.
Back and forth.
What are you talking about? We need a resolution.
That's 3. That's 3. But I don't think that Beyonce was trying to be Aaliyah, though. I don't think that. Now, if you said something along the lines of like Ciara or Carrie Hilson, whatever her name is, I would say, okay, cool. Carrie Hilson or Ciara.
Trying to be
I can see that. But what I'm saying is, back in the day with Destiny's Child, everybody was trying to be like Aaliyah. Back then, it was like Brandy, Monica, Aaliyah. You know what I'm saying? Destiny's Child was popping. I'm not taking away from Beyonce, but everybody was trying to have her swag.
No way.
So, transition to talking about a lot of these different mega stars. We're just talking about J-Lo, just talking about, Aaliyah, some of these artists that are out there. Now, I'm not sure if you heard, but Taylor Swift is in the process of re-recording her music. I didn't even know that because she don't own the masters and the rights to her work. And so, a lot of artists are approaching these record labels and these executives in terms of wanting them to get a bigger cut out of, the content they're putting out there. But I think, also being that the record label's the driving engine to give them the voice. Do you think these artists have the right and they should be putting themselves in a position when they're not at a superstar level to be requesting, X amount off the top of that work?
I can't be mad at the businesses because at the end of the day, when artists sign deals with industries, they have to understand is that these industry executives, they're looking at these artists as investments, right? So when they get the deal, everything's an investment. That money that they get a $5 million deal to be with Sony Entertainment, that money is also going to be allocated for the positions, producers, the stylists, the set, all these different roles where that money gets allocated towards. So as far as them wanting to have masters, the thing with an artist is that the artist is always going to be the short end of the stick. That's really what it comes down to. And these artists, I feel like a lot of these, it sucks. And then the thing is, a lot of these corporations, the reason why they do that is because they keep that money going. They own the masters and they can keep making money off the song, and that's just putting money back into their business. So that money's being recycled into the thing, and maybe this artist don't even have the rights to it, where they have to keep paying the corporations. Look at P. Diddy for an example. Everybody that's worked on Bad Boy Records, P. Diddy is still making money off of these artists. Mace, about 3 months ago, wrote a message on Twitter and said, all these years that I've been by your side, producing your songs and doing your music, you still won't even let me own the masters of my thing. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't own anything. It's disgusting.
Right. So I would say, so let me talk. So speaking to that, right? If you're smart enough as an artist to know that, you want to own the rights to music and that's what you get paid on, royalties and all that stuff, why are you signing these long-term deals? Why are you signing a 5-album deal?
They're desperate in the beginning. They need to sign contracts now, so then maybe let them renegotiate their contract later. But in the you know, with the evolution of technology, it's really put the ball in the artist's hands. Like they have more power, they can control. Record labels are gonna phase out soon. Like you really don't need them as much. I mean, yeah, they can get you out there faster and get you to the masses, faster and all of that. But it's gonna come at a cost. So you gotta say, do I want this quick money or do I want ownership?
Right.
And control later.
And that goes back to what we was talking about earlier with Dave Chappelle. Pretty much these artists are trying to do exactly what Dave didn't do, right? But once if you're a new artist, you got to prove something to me. I'm just not going to give you ownership if you're not proving it.
And that's fair.
That's fair, right? That's fair.
They'll be like, who are you? So I think the best thing to do is just to come out, start it yourself, be independent, and that's it.
If you start out as independent, right, you don't get the same backing in terms of promotion. You don't get the same volume, marketing, audience where you're with the Epic Records, right, or the Columbia Records. Everyone knows that name, so they put you out there in Times Square on a billboard. We got this artist coming out in the next month. Boom, you don't really have to do too much talking, right? Because now you got the name and the brand backing behind you.
Right.
As an artist, you have to figure out a way to who to go to, what nightclub or what radio station you want to play your music.
It's a lot of work.
You got to hustle though. You got to
do the legwork. They don't want to do the legwork.
They don't want to do the legwork.
And the businesses do the legwork.
Right.
Yeah.
Save up some cash, save up some money, and then go out there and market yourself. That's all you got to do. It might take a little bit longer, but then would you rather do that or sign this terrible deal and then on the back end,
you're screwed?
Yeah, complaining on Instagram to your followers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Meg is, she was just talking about something else, complaining about her contract. So why are you guys constantly signing these contracts if you keep on getting screwed over?
Right.
Preach.
I know. You signed the contract, and it was the company's backing who made you who you are today.
Right.
So, it's like, you signed it, just take it and keep it moving. Like, that was the choice you made to get to where you are. Live with it, keep it moving.
Yeah. So I'll say this real quick before we connect. I know with a lot of these artists, they're young. Some of them are 18 years old, like Dave, I forget how old he said he was when he signed his deal. But a lot of guys, especially in the music business now, they're younger. They're 18 years old, you're 17 years old. And even they can go ask their parents for advice, but I'm pretty sure like probably half of their parents don't even have no idea about contract negotiations, lawyers that get involved. They want to cut for themselves as well as an agent or whatever the case may be. But it gets stickier the younger you get because then you have a lot of other people around you that are influencing your decisions.
Yeah.
Doing it at the age of maybe 25, 26, 27 years old, where you have a little bit more idea how to talk to people and maneuver that industry. But speaking about lots of money, let's talk about that too. A little piece of that money pie, that money talk. NBA's been going crazy. I see the shaking of the head there, Terrence.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about $195 million, $200 million contracts for guys that are the age of, 22 years old? Do you think they put in enough time? I mean, 3-4 years of qualifying time, according to their calendar, means, if you put in the service and you did the work, you valid, right?
So there's two that I want to talk about, right? Gordon Hayward and Jason Tatum. That's what I want to talk about. Jason Tatum just signed the deal. $195 million for the next 5 years.
Ridiculous.
At the age
ridiculous.
How old is he, Josh? 22?
Tatum just turned, I believe, 22 years old.
22 years old.
22 or 23 years old.
Listen, so if I made it to the league, then that money would be fine. So allow me to hate real quick. I didn't make it to the league. So with that being said, I think these guys are making entirely too much money. Straight up.
But look, if the organizations can afford to pay them that, then hey, get your money.
$195 million, especially right now during COVID and everything.
They must.
Yeah, that's $40 million. You said right in 5 years.
So much money. Hey,
$40 million.
Get that money.
It's crazy.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. No.
At age of 22, I mean, some of these guys, I think T, I was talking to you about this a couple days ago. A lot of these guys don't even bring in the most of their money off of an NBA contract. They bring it in off of endorsements. LaMelo Ball, how much did he just sign for on Puma, Terrence?
I don't know. I don't know how much that was.
$100 million just from a sneaker.
Yeah.
Just from one sneaker at the age of 19.
Wait, just from a what?
Just from signing a sneaker. A sneaker deal.
$100 million.
She said she had to look back real quick. $100 million at the age of I believe he's 19 now for a sneaker deal with Puma.
That's crazy. So, wow. I mean,
guys are getting the money younger. These contracts are ballooning, but a lot of people probably don't understand what goes into these contracts. Some of them based off of TV deals, right? So just like we were talking about owning the rights and who got the contracts to this, a lot of these networks own the rights, so make deals, partnerships with the NBA to say you can only contract on my channel for the next 5 years. Like the next 10 years, the Super Bowl, they already know where the Super Bowl is going to be and on what network because they signed a deal with the NFL. So though that money running, that revenue coming in is definitely, it seems that, that's where all that money's coming from those players. So if they can pay it, like Charnetta said, I agree. I agree that why not, right?
No, how do you feel?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to take away from somebody making their money. I mean, when you're running up and down the court, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think of like Kawhi Leonard, for instance. He brought the championship for Toronto Raptors, and they was already willing to give him a free home. They have restaurants with his picture on there where he can eat for free. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, for someone to get paid $40 million to be playing a sport, I mean, I get that they have money to allocate that money for players, but I just feel like that's a little bit too much. What about these doctors? Right. What about like these people out here that are doing jobs that's more meaningful? Not to say anything against sports. My family's in sports and all that. But all I'm saying is like, I feel like the doctors, the people that's sacrificing and dealing with the COVID, all the frontline workers, all of those first responders, like I would rather them get $40 million. They're getting no sleep. They're working nonstop, making sure that our lives is in the best shape possible. And I just don't see how $40 million is allocated for a basketball player.
I don't think they should get more than $15 million per
why
year.
Not? If they're branding your likeness. If someone takes your image,
right? They bringing in how much? Yeah, they bringing into these organizations how much, and you only want them to get 50? No.
Nah.
Like, if likeness is making you money, pay me.
Right, but that's a lot of money, and there's a lot of different occupations, right? Basic jobs where they're making millions and millions of dollars, and they're paying somebody $10 an hour, right? They're not paying somebody $100 an hour; they're paying 10. So they do not have to pay these athletes $40 million a year. I think that's crazy. Even Gordon Hayward, that's crazy to me. He was injured for the last 3 years. He came back, and now he got a deal
for $120 million.
Where? Charlotte
for 4 years, $120 million, I believe.
That's crazy, and you've been injured for the last 3 years.
Yeah,
you haven't been working for the last 3 years.
Like. What's your excuse for that?
But is it the
That's
NBA
crazy.
making money off of him by using his branding with his likeness and putting his face on promo? They're still using his name, right? So he's still got to try to get some money off of it somewhere if they're still putting his face and image out there, which is
Nobody
the fight
likes Gordon Hayward.
Nobody
even knows that guy.
He probably don't even have to dribble a ball again. He could just go sit in the stands, be hurt, sit on the, wave to the crowd a little bit here and there, and they still come to see him because they like him. So that's why, you got to pay me. I'm showing up. I'm bringing in all these fans, all these people, this revenue. You got, this business wanting to work with you, this business wanting to sponsor and all that. That's because of me, because I'm here. So
I'd rather see Mike Pence play basketball than Gordon Hayward. Simple as that.
Oh, wow.
I'll take Mike Pence.
That's a reach.
VP.
That's wow.
Yeah.
That's a reach.
I would give him $120-something million before I gave it to Gordon Hayward.
Well, y'all, looks like Chanel, she's not too enthused about them contract numbers and the amount they're getting paid out there. T, he looked like he'd rather see Mike Pence play a little bit of basketball, probably super Lakers. And Charnetta, she said pay her coins. But we're going to see y'all again next week. We thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Say It in 4. See y'all.